What's going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Range Talk Podcast. My name is Cisco.
My name is Isaiah.
And today we're going to be talking about, actually we're following up on yesterday's podcast where we talked about beginner airsoft guns and what to look out for.
If you guys didn't see that, make sure to go ahead and check that out. It is on our list of videos on there. Again, check it out. Highly recommend it, especially if you're a new player.
Oh yeah. But this episode we are going to be talking about things all airsofters should know. Not just beginners, but every airsofters. So... It should be on. I was like, I
didn't see the light from here, so
I got scared. I have the microphone up here because you see where Isaiah says it's right under the chin. The beard rubs against the mic. Yeah,
I don't have the man beard honestly for it. So.
You could grow it, dude. No. I want to see you full. I want to see you full, scruffy, rugged, my boy. You remember?
It's gross, man. Like my hair gets so curly and thick, and after a while, I get it, right? No, I get it, right? Like it's normal. You're supposed to brush it out too and take care of it, and eventually it gets softer. But nah, man.
You know, I don't do any of those beard oils or anything. Mm-hmm. Like I literally just shampoo it, and then I brush it to untangle it after I shower, and yeah, that's it. And it's grown.
I can't do it, man. Honestly, I get too itchy already.
I don't need to put oil on it. I have a lot of oil in my body. It's the cholesterol. But regardless, guys. So yeah, we are going to be talking about things every airsofter should know.
These can be anything from like how-tos on how to fix your airsoft gun, more so like basic troubleshoots when you're encountering a problem, or what to look out for. Very specific rules that you want to keep in mind when you are getting into airsoft, actually playing, bring it to a field, or even just playing in your backyard.
Yes. So, Isaiah, you have the list, but I think the first topic on the list is going to be hop-up. Hop-up is something that is referenced in airsoft very, very often because it is the determining factor of how far your BBs will go.
So for those that don't know, hop-up is what it actually looks like, right? Because you're going to see like plenty of times when you buy an airsoft gun, it'll have maybe somewhere in the actual specification or the listing of the product itself, it'll say adjustable hop-up included, or includes a adjustable hop-up or fully adjustable hop-up, whatever term they like to go and use. But what does that actually mean? Well, a hop-up or a hop-up unit, actually, you have them right there.
I actually have them right here. So inside the airsoft gun, so just to clarify, not every airsoft gun has adjustable hop.
A lot of the lower price, like low power AEGs, low pegs, LPEGs, those springers,
cheap springers. Gotta clarify.
A lot of the guns that you would get at maybe like Big Five or Walmart, a lot of them actually won't have what we know as like an adjustable hop, at least not the way that we know it anyway.
Yeah, for sure. But so they do come included. I'll hand you the more modernized one, and I have a more traditional M4 hop-up unit. So both of these are M4 hop-up units.
Yes. They can come in various styles, by the way. Don't feel like they have to be solely in this specific like rotary style, or if they have the old little
dial style.
It doesn't matter. Both of these are actually interchangeable. Like you should be able to go in and swap these out into different M4s. Now that is one thing to keep in mind. If you were looking for an aftermarket one, for whatever reason you wanted to swap it out, or yours broke, or you lost it, it happens.
I looked at the light through the
you blinded yourself.
I just made a bunch worse.
But yeah, these guys are meant for specifically M4, AR-15, M16 style Toki Marui spec AEGs.
Mm-hmm.
These are going to be the most common styles that you would find, again, whether it be the old dial style or this newer rotary style hop chain.
And I know we're kind of far away, guys, but you can see the silhouette of it. We do have plenty of videos talking about different hop-up units. Yes.
I mean, I don't think we're going to be shooting too much, but still.
Yeah, just to be safe. So, yeah, if you look up the manual of your airsoft gun, you'll see the style of hop-up unit that it has. And again, what Isaiah said, the shape of it can be different between aftermarket brands or models and what comes out of the box, especially between different gun platforms themselves.
Yeah.
Like, the M4 is going to be very different from the AK.
Yeah, they're not interchangeable.
Yeah, it's going to be different from the G36, so on and so forth. So basically what a hop-up does is it applies a backspin to the BB when it is, the BB is being shot out of the barrel. So it creates a lift. So as it's backspinning, it will lift the BB up.
Yeah,
right?
Without it, you're literally not getting anywhere near the potential range that you could be getting from your airsoft gun. Because once the BB comes through, because again, this would connect to the actual lips of the magazine going into the mag well. It's going to have a line of BBs going up. Once it's inside of here, there is going to be a rubber nub that makes contact with the bucking that will apply the downward force as needed. You can adjust it, whether it be, again, using the old traditional dial, the one wheel, or you can go ahead and use the rotary side with the even bigger wheel, right? Once you apply force, it's going to, again, add that backspin needed to it. Because without it, your BB is going to shoot, travel through the inner barrel, shoot a little bit. It'll go somewhat far, kind of, but it's just going to drop off. You're not going to see any sort of major lift. It's just literally going to drop, and you're going to end up having to arc your BBs for a while. Like, I've had to do that for, like, I think for my first couple of months playing Airsoft, because no one explained it to me, right? I didn't know what hop-up was. I was like, okay, cool. It has adjustable hop-up. I don't know what that shit means, but cool.
Yeah.
So I was literally like, man, this MP5 ain't got no range, right? So I had to, like, really arc my BBs. I still got kills, but, man, it was rough.
It's funny because I remember not knowing about hop up, and neither did any of my friends. And my friend Sam, he had his MP5K.
Yeah,
already had a short barrel, but this man did not know how to adjust it. It was like so turned on. The moment it shot out, it
just
like,
goes straight to the moon.
Straight to the moon. It curves up. So you do want to fine tune your hop up unit to your gun and whatever weight BB you're using. If you tune it to the standard 0.20 gram BB to be as straight as possible.
Great.
So,
awesome.
Yeah, but if you do increase the weight of BB, you will need to adjust it more because of the heavier weight. It's not going to get as much lift, and you'll see it drop off much sooner.
That's why those grams are really important to pay attention to whenever you buy your bag of BBs, right? Or if it comes included with a bag of BBs, read it because they will always label what gram your weight, what weight you're dealing with right then and there. Because again, if it's set for 2.0, great. You don't have to do it again. You don't have to reset it or readjust the hop chamber because it's already set. But if you were to go from, say, a 2.0 to a 3.0, for example,
that's dramatic.
Like that's dramatic. Like you are not going to be seeing any sort of difference whatsoever. It just drops, man.
Yeah. So that is one thing that I see a lot of new players make the mistake on. They don't know about the hop up or how to adjust it. And they'll say, oh, my gun doesn't shoot far at all. It'll shoot maybe 30, 40 feet and then immediately drop down. Okay, did you adjust the hop unit? What's that?
Yeah, that's I would get that in store as well.
So, yeah, we highly recommend doing that. That is the determining factor for your range, pretty much.
So you can actually see what we're talking about, too. This one actually didn't have the pin inside.
Okay.
So this wheel, right, how you would adjust it, it's literally with the rotary style anyway. It's just moving either left or right. Typically, they'll actually give you a directional arrow. I know it's kind of impossible to see it where it says the hop itself. But adjusting one way will either increase the downward force or decrease or increase. There you go. Yeah. I was like, what is it? But the actual arm that you get, you can go ahead and disassemble this, right? I'm going to take this out.
Can it slide out?
It did earlier. So I was like, oh, can you come on?
Get it
on, baby.
Get it,
almost got it. But while I'm working on that, why don't you go ahead and show them?
So actually, I'm gonna go up to the camera to show you guys, and I know I might flare it out a little bit, but this is what a traditional style hop-up unit looks like right here. So as you can see, the dial is actually on the side of the hop-up unit. This is a classic design. This is the original design from Tokyo Marui that everyone has pretty much adapted until the rotary style came around. And basically, there is a gear set where you spin this bottom wheel here. It will spin the other two gears and adjust this arm right here. You can see it at the very top. It's that green bar right there. And that will push up and down into the barrel. And the more it presses down into the barrel, the more hop up you are applying to the BB, or the more pressure applying to the BB to create more backspin.
Well, you're there actually. Here, why don't you go and take this?
Oh yeah, sure.
Because you got the better angle.
Yeah.
So this is what's basically happening inside the hop-up chamber unit itself.
Yeah. So this is a more modern style, which is a rotary style hop-up unit. This is the arm that goes, that we were talking about, that pushes into the bucking. So instead of having that dial on the side, you have this wheel that spins perpendicular to the arm, which allows for a more secure position, as to where this traditional style right here, if you shoot it, if the hop-up unit, if the wheels themselves are not very tight in friction, what can happen is as you're shooting BBs through it, it applies pressure to the arm and it can back it out. Yeah, exactly. So actually, undoing your hop.
Why don't you show them what it looks like inside? I think, yeah, because the arm's down. So if you look inside of the actual hop chamber itself.
Where did I put the arm?
Oh no.
I lost it.
Oh no. Oh, it's right there.
Oh, Smart me. Okay, so above the hop-up unit,
You can see where the bucking actually is.
yeah, where the arm is. Let's see if it'll focus. You can see the window space. You can see that black little space inside the hop-up unit. That is the top of the chamber of the inner barrel. So from the hop-up arm right here, let's get that focus as well. Doing this impromptu, guys, so I do apologize.
We're trying our best here.
We are trying our best. So that hop-up arm, focus. There it is. So that hop-up arm, you can see that black barrel right there. That is the rubber piece that actually is pressing down on the hop-up bucking. That is applying pressure. So as you're twisting the wheel, this arm will come in and push down on the bucking into the barrel, giving the surface friction or the surface area for the BB to actually make contact with, which is why you get backspin.
So if you guys were like, for whatever reason, if you were in the middle of like a tech project right now and you were building your own like airsoft gun like from scratch and you didn't really know how to do that yourself, now you understand like what it actually goes into a hop unit, and you can buy each of these individual components individually. This rotary cell hop chamber, believe it or not, is actually one of my favorite hop chambers on the market.
It's so affordable.
It's super affordable.
It's ridiculous.
It's
actually
easy to put into pretty much anything. It works great, honestly. Like, and my philosophy when it came to hop chambers was, if it's not broken, there's no need to fix it. And this came from most like legit like techs that have been in the industry for years that have always said the same thing. Like, especially if you have a rotary cell and it works, why change it out anyway? Valid.
So I mean, of course, there are going to be aftermarket hop-up units that offer a little bit more features or a little bit more rigidity or it being more solid.
There are some hop-up chambers that are like built-in, what is it called? Tracer units as well.
Yeah, exactly. So like Max MAXX model, they make a hop-up unit that everyone likes. ProWin is another company that's
been around for a while. Yeah,
they've been around for a while. They're not really talked about out here, but apparently they're really loved in Asia.
Really?
Yeah. So
ProWin?
Yeah, ProWin. I was very surprised because it was Mark from Laylax.
Oh, okay.
So Mark from Laylax, when we got to talk to him when he came through, he was like, "Yeah, ProWin's like
killing
it
out there.
Go-to." Yeah, he was like, Max isn't really used out there. Maybe because distribution stuff, whatever. But yeah, very interesting. So that is pretty much the basics of what you need to know when it comes to hop-up units.
You know what's cool too? Like if you ever want to buy an upgraded one from what you have, because again, most inner barrels that you get out of the box, like for most guns that aren't like, I would say manufactured like currently, like a lot of the older guns that are out there that are still being made, like JGs, maybe some double bells. A lot of them are going to be using just your like regular wide bore inner barrels, and they're still going to be using the old like dial style hop chambers. You can buy this hop chamber for like less than $20, right? It's available on Airsoft GI. You want to shop. Less than $20, you can pick that up. Very easy, works pretty much every single inner barrel. And then also pick up a Unicorn Airsoft Type 4 inner barrel. That is going to be one of the easiest purchases, honestly, that you can make as an airsoft player. Looking to upgrade your gun and get some better performance, that's usually what I would suggest you go with.
Yeah, so some airsoft guns, like the Lancer Tactical Gen 2s, they come with a...
This is a stock OEM like barrel setup that you would get out of a Gen 2.
So this is a 6.03 millimeter inner diameter. So that's actually another thing that people don't understand as well. The diameter of the inner barrel. So
basically how wide or how girthy your inner barrel actually is.
Yeah.
Down to like the millimeter, like, you know.
The hundredth. Tenth. It's point, and then that's a tenth.
Yeah, so second 0 is 10, second 0 is 100.
100.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to the 100th of the millimeter to help increase your effective accuracy. Now, the stock inner barrel diameter, 6.06.
6.06.
6.06 is actually the stock diameter of Tokyo Marui. So anything going downward from that is technically a Type 4. But depending on how tight it is will affect how it performs. Now, you might think, oh, the tighter it is, the better the accuracy is going to be. Yes, that's the general sense, but at the same time, no.
There's a little bit more that goes into it.
Yeah, so the tighter you get in diameter means that there's less space in the barrel for the BB to move, which is relatively good. But if you're, exactly. But if you are in a outdoor field that's really dusty or has a lot of debris, if dirt gets into the barrel,
that's a jam.
Yeah, that is a jam, and you do have a higher risk of causing a jam with that. And if you do get a jam, especially if it's like sand, you could scratch the inner barrel with the BB and like the sand, rock, whatever, inside the barrel, which could destroy the barrel and like
not only that,
basically
but, like,
trash it.
Yeah, not only that, but like you got to think too that you have. Sorry, you have your hop-up chamber, right? Your whole barrel setup. I know I scared the shit out of you. But you also have that inner barrel is a direct like funnel that leads to the air nozzle, which leads to the gearbox.
Yep.
So you could potentially do some really bad damage. Now you have like the 603. I feel like the 603 diameter is like fairly okay. It has pretty decent tolerance. There's a lot of outdoor players who play with a 603, and you know they're all right.
That's what I typically personally recommend.
Yeah.
Like the only time I'll recommend going tighter, like a 6.01.
Oh god, or a 5.999.
Oh yeah, those
You've
guys.
seen those?
Yeah, those guys are crazy. But whenever I personally choose an aftermarket inner barrel, I typically go with a 6.03 because I know I still get really good accuracy.
Not unless it's a DMR build specifically. Then yes, I would do a 601.
No,
but even then, like I've seen plenty of like really good, like legit DMR setups or SPR setups, and they're using a 603.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it gives me the ease of mind knowing that if I'm really rough or if my gun takes a dive, you
don't have to baby it.
Yeah, I have less of a chance of getting a jam with that. Now, granted, there is still the possibility, but it's just
less likely.
Exactly. So, but speaking of getting dirt in the barrel, cleaning your inner barrel.
Excellent segue.
Cleaning the barrel. So, guys. This is actually a topic that
we get a lot of questions to this day.
It's kind of a lot of people have different methodology on how to clean their inner barrel, and honestly, I'll say do whatever works for you.
Yeah, as long as you're not using olive oil, then yeah, that's just happened. Remember?
No, I don't.
Yes, it was like years ago when we still had the Virginia store. They sent us a video, or it might have been Texas. They sent us a video of an inner barrel. Someone had tried to clean the inner barrel of their AEG, and they were like, "Oh, I see that people use silicone oil. Well, I don't have that. Let me use some olive oil."
I'm trying to
extra
get some
virgin
spaghetti.
It's spaghetti. Who's a touch of my spaghetti? I want some out of you.
Yeah, don't do that.
No.
So
or mayonnaise. That happened too. Here you go.
I remember stuffing mayonnaise.
Oh yeah, you did that too, but no, that
was a test.
We were doing that for the meme. Someone did that because they thought, oh, this would work.
Mayo?
Because they saw that, oh, it has the extra virgin olive oil inside.
Get the.
I'm not joking. I wish this was a joke. This is real.
Is hilarious. Okay, but there are plenty of different ways for you to clean your inner barrel. Again, whatever works for you. First off, what not to do. Do not take a real firearms barrel cleaning kit.
Don't do that.
To clean your inner barrel.
This happened quite a few times, even in storefront as well. People have bought the kit and would come back saying, oh, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Wonder why. It's a very big difference.
Yeah, a real firearm inner barrel or barrel cleaning kit, though they're using metal bristles in their brush to scrape off the buildup of debris and
the gunk.
Yeah, the gunk of the powder and stuff. This is a no. This is a big fat no in airsoft, okay? Inner barrels in airsoft are smoothbore. They're not rifled at all. There aren't any twists, rifling that you need to worry about getting into those finer corners with. So, using a standard airsoft cleaning,
by the way,
unjamming rod.
This comes included with so many airsoft guns. Yeah. Maybe not every single one, but a huge majority of them will. All these like Gen 2s and all the Gen 3s, especially the Gen 2s, I know for a fact they will all come included with one of these.
I believe Arcturus has them. I believe Classic Army, G&G, KW, like all of them.
You can get one.
Yeah, if you don't have one,
we'll give you one for free.
Yeah, honestly, or go to like your local shop or field, ask around. You can these are like pennies to make, okay? But on this, you will see that there are two sides to it. There is the actually cleaning side, which looks like the tip of or the end of a needle, like where you thread the needle. And
that's essentially what it's designed to do. There has that specific like cutout so you can go ahead and thread it with some type of cloth, some type of like rag, if it's like thin enough. Bear in mind, it has to be pretty thin. Usually what I tell people on this side, what's best would be the like sort of like cleaning rags that you get with your glasses.
Oh, like microfiber?
Yeah, like microfiber.
Okay. I mean, damn, that's kind of expensive to use.
I got the hookup.
Yeah.
I got that plug, you know?
Okay. And then on the other side is the unjamming side, which actually might as well demonstrate it.
Yeah.
So if a BB is jammed inside the inner
It's
barrel
lodged in
somewhere,
there, or like some mud got caked in. It happens.
yeah. Here, I'll bring it closer since we're doing it.
We might as well keep going.
So, as you can see right here on the end, you'll see it is a slanted tip right there. You'll see the slant right there. So what you're going to want to do on the inner barrel, you're going to want to slide the tip toward the top, right? So you slide it in. This way, when you push it all the way back, it opens up. It pushes the air nozzle back and opens up the fill nozzle hole, the fill area for where the magazine is in the hop-up unit, and it allows the BB to get pushed outward.
Recommended: take your magazine out.
Take this. I mean, if you can, take this out of your gun. And
I mean, obviously
that's the safest way.
But there's some guys on the middle of the field, right? I've seen it done where like they're in the middle of a game, they don't want to get out, so they'll just have their unjamming run. They'll literally do a slight assembly like right then and there on the match, which brave of you to do, because again, you could very easily lose something.
Yeah. So as you can see right here, I have it in. It'll go all the way through. It is clear enough. This is plastic, so it will not damage the inner barrel.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that. And again, you just want the tip of the unjamming rod to be pointed toward the top, so it creates a ramp to push the BB downward. Okay. And then on the other side of the cleaning unjamming rod is the cleaning part. As I said, it looks like the end of a needle where you would thread the cloth in to clean the barrel.
Now, here's what I would ask. Again, everyone has their own methodology. What is your preferred method of doing it? Like, once you've cleared the debris and you know that there's still dirt inside, you need to go and make sure it's extra clean. What would you say is the go-to? Because I've seen people do like rubbing alcohol to get rid of like major caked on like dried mud inside. That's one that I've used myself. And then they would hit it with like silicone oil after. Is that something that you recommend, or what do you prefer?
Okay, so honestly, it depends on the situation. Yeah. For me personally, if I'm on the field, no matter what I'll do is I will take the inner barrel and hop-up unit out of the gun.
It's not that, I know it seems a little difficult and daunting to do, disassembling anything on your airsoft gun, but this is actually one of the easier things to go ahead and do. Don't worry about it. Just make sure that you're doing it on a table, at the staging area, or at home. It's going to be recommended. Don't try to do that in the middle of the field. That's a bad idea.
No, don't do it on field. Do it off the field at staging area. Okay, let me clarify that. So this is what I typically do personally, especially since I run a lot of M4s.
Yeah.
For other guns like AKs and G36, the hop-up units are a little bit more difficult to take out.
Yeah.
You don't have to take it out of the receiver for this method, but I like to do this so I can see the debris that is in the barrel safely without the risk of it firing randomly, because it's still attached to a gun, right?
Yeah.
So I'll look through it, see the debris, and then if I'm on field, I typically won't have my cleaning kit. Yeah. So what I'll use is like not really a paper towel, because I know it shouldn't hurt it, but like those paper towels that you get.
Are they like really abrasive? Is that your word?
Yeah. Like it just like those are really
tough.
Exactly. So I like to use toilet paper.
Like if you wouldn't use it on your butthole, why would you use it on your I don't know,
Valid. So I like to use toilet paper. I actually have this because my allergies are flaring up.
Yeah.
But what you could do is just take a couple pieces, or maybe just one piece, and then just tear off, I'd say about a 1-inch strip from whatever you're doing, whatever you're using, and then fold that in half. That way you're adding layers to it, making it a little bit more thick.
Because if it's too thin, it's literally just going to rip apart.
Exactly.
You put it in the barrel.
So then when it's folded in half, you're going to measure it up to the threading needle. As I can see, it is still a little too thick, so I'll fold it in half again. That's perfectly fine. So now it's thin enough for it to slide through, and it's still having the layers to keep it a little bit more rigid inside.
And if you mess up this, don't worry about it. There's plenty of toilet paper. Toilet paper, we're not going to fold it anymore.
Let me tell you something. It was a problem in 2020.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I was going to say, it's not that expensive. I was like, it's not COVID anymore.
It's not COVID anymore.
It's not 2020.
So yeah, once you thread it through, you see it like this. And what I personally do is I'll fold it all to one edge, and then I'll twist it along the base of the rod.
If you try to do it without doing this, what's going to end up happening is that you're going to force it to kind of go through and bend to the end. Remember, even though like this is like not necessarily a type war, it doesn't really matter. Regardless, you try to stuff it in without folding it around, wrapping
It'll more
it
than
around,
likely rip it off.
Rip it off. Yeah.
So I always do this. This adds a little bit more security of sliding it into the barrel. So from here, what I will do is I'll put silicone oil on the towel or whatever material I'm using, and then I'll actually twist the same direction that I twisted the paper towel or the toilet paper. So running through it. So as you can see right here, it's getting caught up. So I mean, if it rips off, so be it. You're gonna do this more than likely like 5 to 6 times.
Yeah.
So
you want to make sure you're actually being thorough with cleaning.
Yeah. So then you're just gonna go ahead and slide it all the way through in
As
the same
twisting
direction
as you're going down.
Yeah. So this is, so it's not going to create a perfect seal. It's not going to be able to just one wipe and swipe.
No.
So as you're twisting it, whatever is making contact with the barrel is going to continuously.
It's going to basically catch onto the actual paper towel or whatever material you're using. And because it's going in that spiral, it's going to move along with it.
Yep.
But you have to do that a couple times because, yeah, on your first like round of doing that, once you remove it, you are going to be able to get like a good majority of it off. But again, if it was enough to cake on and cause a jam, you don't want to take any chances of you jamming again in the middle of the field.
Exactly.
Because it probably just started off with just a small piece of debris anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So there is a little bit of space at the tip of the cleaning side to let you know where it is. And I don't like to push it all the way through because I don't want to push dirt into the hop-up unit.
Yeah.
That's something that I like to avoid. So I just go right to the end and then still twisting the same direction, pulling it outward until it pops off. And just this being dry, it did actually catch a good amount of dirt. So I'll actually show that.
The camera.
So even bone dry.
But you can still get a little bit out.
Yeah, for sure. But using silicone oil, I don't know if you can really tell, it is dirty in person, I promise you guys.
And silicone oil is also one of those like things that every airsoft store, us included especially, we stock up on silicone oil, so we have plenty on hand. This is one of those like pieces of kit that's like, it's like what, $7 to like $10, right? Maybe $15 if you want to get like the bigger size one.
Yeah.
But it's hella worth it.
No, yeah, and the can, literally a small can will last you years. It'll last you so long.
I bought a can for work specifically from here in 2017 when I started. I still have majority of it left. Yeah.
I think I still have silicone oil from like 2012.
Yeah, it's like
so
it doesn't
much.
run out. Like it's there.
Yeah, because you only need a small amount. So I will repeat this process until the cloth or paper towel or toilet paper starts coming out white. Once that's done, once they start coming out white, then I'll run through it a couple of times with just a dry paper towel to absorb any of the excess silicone oil. So you want the inner barrel to be dry. Reason for this is, again, if you're running out on the field and you got a jam because of the dirt, the silicone oil is going to attract the dust. It's going to cake it up.
Guns, for whatever reason, real steel and like airsoft just are dirt magnets. No matter what you do, they're going to attract the dirt. But with the silicone oil added to it, that is literally just going to function as a glue to hold on to it. Because silicone oil does dry after a little while. It just cakes on. That's why gas blowbacks get hella dirty as well.
Oh, absolutely. So that's how I will do it on the field. Now, if I want to be as thorough as possible and make sure that it is pristine, I actually disassembled the entire.
This one, it'd be a little easier.
I don't know. This one has the side clips. I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need this. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So I would disassemble the entire hop-up unit and take the inner barrel out of the hop-up unit.
This is so that you can, like, once you have the hop-up chamber like out and you don't have to worry about that assembly anymore, you can run the cleaning rod all the way through.
Yeah, all the way through without any problems. So because I'm very meticulous personally when cleaning and assembling my airsoft guns, I do a very interesting method. So what you said about rubbing alcohol, I actually like doing that as well, but I don't just dump rubbing alcohol into it. What I actually use is the alcohol cleaning pads. So I'll slice those up, still has rubbing
Put it
alcohol
in there as well.
I'll do the same process of threading it onto the cleaning unjamming rod and then just swirling it through. Doing that as many times.
If I don't have the alcohol pads, you prep pads, I'll usually do like that exact same thing, like little paper towels or something. Yeah. And I'll just rinse those or douse those in some rubbing alcohol.
Oh yeah. That.
If you don't have the prep pads, you can do that too. That works.
That works also. Use whatever you can. So, I would actually, when I'm at home, I actually just take an old white shirt and I cut it
Oh,
up.
you just cut it up?
I
Yeah, my
cut
mom
it
does
in-
the same thing for like cleaning around the house.
Oh, yeah,
Take
yeah.
old t-shirts and just cut them
Yeah.
up.
Actually, I've been using the same shirt and just cutting
Oh,
threads
really?
off since like 2012. I mean, I'm still wearing 3XL, but it's a lot of surface material.
And yeah, you got some plenty to work with.
Yeah, so I take that because it is soft. It's not gonna be damaging to it, but it's dense. It's durable, so I can really like get
Jam
in
it
there
and clean it. You don't have
yeah.
to worry about ripping the paper towel or anything because it's a t-shirt.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. So I will do that process again until the barrel comes out clean. You can look through it, and you can easily see any dirt or debris that's in the barrel.
What do we recommend? Hold it up against the light, not the one we have facing us because that is bright as the sun.
Yeah. But hold it up to like the window or any like light source where you can see through it.
Whoa. Sorry, I had to.
And you can easily see all the way to the end if there's any dust or debris or anything. And you can tell the dust
Oh yeah.
from caked on dirt.
You can usually tell because, like, again, it's a cylinder, right?
Yeah.
So it should be perfectly circular.
Yep.
So you didn't see, like, oh, why is there this weird lump right there?
Yeah.
It's not, that's dirt. Clean it out.
So once all of the dirt is removed, I will do the same process of taking the cut up t-shirt or paper towel and running that through. Honestly, I'll probably run that through maybe like 4 or 5 times.
Oh, I've seen guys who have like literally will go on like do it 10 times.
Oh yeah.
Sure. I mean, it's a process, right? You want to make sure.
Yeah, honestly, I say that amount, but each time I do it, I just look to see if there's any like dried rubbing alcohol in it because it will leave streaks. So I just do that until it's polished, and then it's good to go. But because I already have it apart, I will take the hop-up bucking. I'll spray this with silicone oil, and I'll run a Q-tip through it just to again get any dirt that
it can get in there too. You'd be surprised how much dirt can actually accumulate inside your hop-up like assembly. Like like if you're not doing that, I highly recommend that you do it now. Just let us know too. Comment in the comment section too, or in the live chat rather. I'd say. Comment in the live chat. Let us know exactly how dirty it was.
Yep. So then I'll do that, and as I am doing this cleaning process, actually I probably do this first. So if your bucking is a little bit dry, you can put it in a little cup or a plastic bag with a little bit of silicone oil just to let it rehydrate a little bit. So then when that's done, then I will go into the hop-up unit and then again cotton swab, silicone oil, clean all of that out, just make sure it's good to go. And then when it's all done, just go ahead and reassemble the way you would normally, just making sure
everything lines up.
Yep, everything's lined up properly, sitting properly. You don't have any issues there.
And again, if you guys aren't confident with doing this yourselves, we actually do have YouTube videos and tutorials on like how to do this. And again, there's plenty of them that exist on YouTube overall. Like
not just from us.
Not just us. Like there's a ton out there. So
absolutely,
I would say you should just follow along, or hell, even an instructional guide online. You can find pictures. Just good old Google. It's gonna be there. That's what I did when I was first starting to learn how to do this myself.
Google. Yeah, once it's done like that, you're good to go. Install it back into your gun, and you are
set. You're done. You're ready to go.
That's pretty much it. And this can guarantee that your gun is shooting the best that it possibly can.
Yeah.
Now, when you adjust before cleaning this, unfortunately, you will need to turn off your hop-up unit all the way. If you do not, and your hop-up unit is on, the arm is still pushing tension into the bucking, right? So if you try to pull out the inner barrel, there's a possibility that your bucking can tear because the arm is pushing into it.
Ask us how we know.
Don't.
I'll be honest. I'll still make that mistake every once in a while. I fuck it up too. I'm so mad at myself. And I usually do it because I'm like, I'm in a rush, right, to do it, right? Because I'm like, fuck, I want to get back to playing.
Yeah,
so I've done it a couple times.
So you're doing it on the field?
No, at staging area.
No, that's what I mean. Like you're doing it while you're out playing.
During the lunch break, like we usually whenever I play, we usually get like a 30-minute like lunch break. So I'm like, okay, now's the time to go back to this gun and see if I can go in and fix and just get it cleaned, right?
Yeah.
So I've done it before. I'm just I want to get it done as soon as I can, and
fuck! No, yeah. So that's why I only do this detailed cleaning at home. So that's why I do that more simplified version at the field. So I don't even worry about trying to take the hop-up unit off. I'll deal with that later. Like honestly, even though we talked about how dirt in the hop-up unit and the bucking can be
that's not going to be the biggest
harmful
cause of jams.
Exactly. it's the inner barrel that's going to be the main cause. So I'll worry about that later and just make sure the inner barrel is clean.
Lesson learned for me.
So yeah, but so again, when you are starting this off, make sure you turn off your hop-up unit, then disassemble, and then do that proper cleaning. But say you get it all cleaned up, you're reassembled, you adjust the hop-up unit back to snuff, it's getting the good range, your inner barrel's clean, so it should be providing good accuracy. But when you are shooting, maybe your BBs are kind of just flying off, maybe to the left, to the right a little bit, just hitting a surrounding
going everywhere
area.
but straight.
Yeah, well, not. It's relatively straight up to a point.
No, for airsoft, I mean, airsoft. If it's literally going, okay, I'm gonna shoot this target who's like maybe 50 feet away from me, I should be able to nail him pretty easily. Why is it going straight right?
Yeah. With that, you're definitely gonna want to check everything was aligned properly and installed properly. So you can, when installing the hop-up unit, or the inner barrel back into the hop-up unit, just make sure the window is sitting parallel to the hop-up arm to make sure that it is straight and centered and everything's good there. But say all of this is cleaned, all this is installed properly, and you're still getting a few flyers out at distance. What will help increase your accuracy, especially at distance, is going to be those heavier weight BBs.
Yeah. Usually with a lighter weight BB like a 2.0, because that's going to be typically the minimum that we would recommend for all airsoft guns. Yeah, it's going to work and it's going to get you like crazy good distance, like, you know, overall. That's just overall distance, not effective range.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So like if there's a little bit of just a cross breeze, even just a little bit, you'd be surprised, even if you don't feel it, there is going to be a little bit of cross breeze that can knock your BB completely off course.
Yep, exactly. So, which is why you'll see in a lot of our test videos when we review guns, do overview of guns.
Yeah, Boaz insists on doing it with 3.0s.
Yeah.
He goes heavy.
Yeah, because that's what he personally uses.
Yeah.
So for me, honestly, it depends on
the gun, right?
On the gun. Like if it's one of my like SPR DMR builds, then
easy, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go like 0.28, 3.0, sometimes even heavier, depending. But if the gun is more of just a general purpose build, 2.0s are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like especially if I'm planning on being closer to the front line or at the front line.
You say maybe for an indoor build?
Oh yeah, for indoor build, we'll see a lot of fields only allow only up to 0.25.
Yeah, like so, N1, like you're not allowed to use anything above 2.5.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. That's mainly for safety because, you know, jewel creeping and a whole bunch of other stuff. Yes. But just to sum up BB weight, the heavier the weight of the BB will increase your accuracy, but will decrease your range.
Your maximum range.
Now, that is a general blanket statement because depending on how you're going to set up, you could easily get heavier weight BBs to shoot far and straight.
Yeah, there are plenty of DMR builds that have been able to go and accomplish like insane range with like a 0.4 something.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. But again, that's just a blanket statement there. So you're gonna want to play with different weight BBs. So
just see what works for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, just test the waters. Go up to 0.25 if you're only using 0.20s and you're not happy with the accuracy.
Yeah.
If you're not happy with 0.25, go up to like 0.28 or maybe jump to 3.0s.
Just experiment. Just start saying, again, like, obviously read the rules for your field if there's BB weight restrictions. That's the number one thing. You know, well, Airsoft GI told me to go ahead and use these because they'd be better for my gun. That won't go well. Yeah. So just make sure that you read the rules of your field. Obviously, make sure that what's allowed is being used. And then just go from there, kind of experiment. But another thing that I feel like is another topic that I feel like maybe, especially mainly beginners, don't really realize, because a lot of times, you know, when you buy a gun, like let's say this Lancer, right, it's going to come included with a 9.6 nickel monohydrate battery, right?
Yep.
We know that there are different types of batteries.
Yes.
But a lot of players, unfortunately, especially when I come in store, they will come in like, oh, I need a new battery. Okay, cool. What type of battery do you want? Oh, just the standard one. Yes.
Yeah, they don't know what, or for me, standard for battery is very
subjective. Yeah, because it really depends on what you had originally.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like a stock battery for me would be an 8.4 volt nickel metal hydride.
I love how that's very distinct mark of when you started playing it. Yeah. The standard for me is a 9.6.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you started around 2010. So that makes sense. So battery technology has definitely changed, and lipo batteries, lithium polymer batteries, were definitely a thing back in the day too. But
the nickel metal hydrate batteries, like the 8.4s and 9.6s, were definitely more prevalent for a lot longer. And to an extent, there's still the kind of standard for a lot of guns because that's what's going to come included. It's not that
Oh,
they're
yeah.
necessarily like the battery that every gun is going to use. And I feel like because some people won't even consider like, oh yeah, this is rear wired, right? This is the battery that would fit into it.
Yeah.
But they'll also assume that, oh yeah, this battery would work for, say, like an AK, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is there's a lot of AKs out there that are top wired, right?
Yeah.
Where the battery will literally sit on top of the gearbox, right? In the upper receiver, right? You take the dust cover off,
Yeah.
it literally sits right in there.
And obviously, this nunchuck style battery will not fit.
Hell no.
So if you wanted to go with a nickel metal hydride style, you'll need to get a stick battery where it would look closer to this.
Yeah.
Where it would sit on the top of the AK without any problems.
There are different shapes, different styles of batteries, and this is hopefully we're gonna help you guys help you guys out with figuring out what the different types are, what are currently available, and also another thing too, they don't take the same chargers.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
I know you're gonna bring it up, so I'm just gonna say it first.
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
I'm gonna bring it up.
Okay.
Okay. So I've been playing Airsoft, right, for as long as I did, right? From 2010, 2017 when I started. I've been playing for 7 years, right? I knew LiPo batteries were a thing, and I knew they had to use different chargers because my homie actually used LiPos as well, and I borrowed them, and I was jealous.
Okay.
I was just scared of using them right at the time because I didn't know any better.
Yep.
But I think it was like the second day or third day that I started working here in the storefront for GI because I actually used to work customer service and then I transferred.
Yep.
Sale weekend, right? So customers out the door. It was pretty busy, right? And I didn't really get. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really get the full training all the way through. It was literally just baptism through fire, right? So I was really stressed and nervous the entire time. I helped this one family out. You know, they wanted to go out and make sure they're going to work. So after they bought it, we tested it out. I let them borrow one of our LiPo batteries. Everything was working great. Without noticing, I plugged in the LiPo battery without thinking about it because I made a dumbass mistake. I plugged in a LiPo battery into a nickel metal hydrate charger. They were supposed to me, and I was like, oh, Tabia, this works, right? And I left to go on lunch. I came back 30 minutes later, and lo and behold, the storefront was closed. They were fanning out smoke. Everyone was wearing the N95 masks. I was like, they all told me, oh, hi, Isaiah. The storefront caught on fire. And I was like, what happened? I was shocked. I didn't know. I thought I was losing the job, right? I was like, man, the storefront's gone, right? But no, thankfully it was able to be put out. You did a good job of getting rid of that fire. And I was convinced, right, that man, this fucking idiot, who plugged this battery into this charger, right? Who the fuck did this? What a dumbass, right? And then lo and behold, the security footage was unveiled to us, and it was but a wee Isaiah.
It was me, the dumbass.
I was the bad guy this whole time. I didn't even know it. What a twist.
No, yeah. Unfortunately, accidents do happen, and in our charging station, I mean, you just have to be very aware. And what Isaiah said.
Man, I thought I was gonna get fired that day.
Oh man. I mean,
damn it, I'm fired 7 years later.
So
6 years later.
yeah. With each charger, we do have a couple of videos talking about LiPo batteries and safety and how you want to handle them, because lithium itself as a chemical is very unstable. As a battery source, it provides great discharge abilities.
Yeah, the performance you get from a LiPo battery is going to be significantly better from a nickel metal hydrate battery.
Yeah. And there are different batteries in Airsoft. A while ago, there was something called lithium phosphorus.
I remember this vaguely.
And then nowadays you'll see lithium ion, which I think I've seen a lot of people were saying Lifey batteries are starting to come back, which is very interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see that
more options.
Yeah, there are definitely more options out there. But the pros and cons between lithium polymer LiPo batteries compared to nickel metal hydride batteries in the short term is the nickel metal hydride batteries are more safe, but not as powerful.
I would say to an extent a little bit less convenient as well in some regards.
In some regards, yes, because they are bigger. The cells of a nickel metal hydride battery are quite thick.
This is this is what you would normally get, and for a gun say this M4, right, that's using this crane or SOT mod stock, right? Yeah, you have plenty of battery space in here, right? Because it's rear wired and you have plenty of cavity space.
Yep.
But that's very specific to this style of stock.
Absolutely.
If you have anything else slimmer than this is not going to work. A lot of you take a Delta stock, right, on the MGC4 Mark II, available right now, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You're only limited to the buffer tube as your battery compartment. So this is for sure not going to work.
Yeah. So So that is a part of the LiPo batteries that is a pro. With LiPo batteries, they come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, and they're more compact.
Yeah.
So they make stick type batteries like this. They make butterfly style or tri panels like a nickel metal hydride battery, but again, they're more compact. Con to it is, depending on the size of the battery, it may not have as much battery life.
Yeah, this one that you would get stock out of the box is 1600 milliamperage, which honestly should be more than okay with lasting you a full day of play.
Yeah. Honestly, like I would say that should be good for a full day. Bring a second battery just in case.
Always, for any battery.
Yeah, but this LiPo battery right here from Echo One, this is a 1000 milliamp hour battery. But the biggest pro with using LiPo batteries is the discharge rate. Okay, these are able to discharge electricity into the gun much faster, increasing the trigger response and the rate of fire, with the higher voltage as well being in the more compact space. As you can see, this 9.6 volt battery,
my bad, no,
is this thick.
Yeah.
Versus this 7.4 volt battery. Stop it. But even though this has a higher voltage, because the discharge rate in the 7.4 is higher, the trigger response is actually about the same.
Yeah.
So the rate of fire is comparable as well, but this 7.4 volt battery, because it can discharge juice faster, it keeps up with a 9.6 volt battery. So these
honestly,
are
depending on
other
the brand
things
too, like they're actually about the same price as well. Like LiPo batteries are not going to be significantly more expensive than nickel metal hydrate. In fact, there are some LiPo batteries that are actually really affordable that we sell too.
Yeah,
like low 20s.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But as you can see, between the LiPo battery and the nickel metal hydride battery, the LiPo battery has 2 plugs versus the nickel metal hydride battery only has 1.
This is important.
This is important to know. With a nickel metal hydride battery, there are standard chargers and there are smart chargers. What we're pulling out right now is going to be a smart charger.
But they all essentially work the same. You are going to get a wall outlet that you can go ahead and plug into any sort of, like any sort of wall cable that you can plug in, right? Yep. This is what they typically look like, and they are all going to plug into the Tamiya connector.
Yep.
There are some older ones that use a large type Tamiya connector. That's fine too. Sometimes they'll come with an adapter, but for this, it's going to come included. This is the 10Energy Smart AC charger. This is compatible with this voltage. If you're not too sure if it works, go onto the description on the website. Sometimes it'll even say on the charger itself for this voltage to this voltage.
Yeah.
This one is compatible with it. Literally just plugs in to the small Tamiya connector. This side, right here. And
just
that's
like
it. Just like that. You plug this into any sort of like wall socket, and it'll charge right then and there for you. It has an electrical cutoff too, which is why we typically recommend going with smart chargers overall.
Yes.
So it won't overcharge your battery, and you'll know exactly when it's finished.
Yes. So when using a smart charger like this, what you want to do is plug the battery into the charger first, so the sensor in the charger can detect how much battery life it has, and then plug it into the wall. So it can charge it till it's completely full, and then stop charging it when it's done. It'll change it to a trickle charge, meaning it will just slowly top it off as needed. Okay, because batteries naturally deplete over time.
Yeah.
Right. But if you were to use a basic charger, you plug it into the wall, and the outlet will just continue to dump power into the battery.
There's no like limiter. There's no restriction. It's literally just gonna continue doing it. So if you were to say, "Hey, I'm gonna leave this plugged in overnight," and just let it sit for hours on end,
you will kill the cells of the battery.
Yeah,
and I've done that.
That's actually for years. That was actually like the #1 reason why like batteries would always have like issues with, because people would just leave their batteries plugged in like overnight for like 7 to like 10 hours.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
I've done that before by mistake.
We've all done it,
and it definitely sucks. Now with LiPo chargers, I do believe the battery connectors and the charger connectors are going to be the same for lithium ion and lithium phosphate as well. Lithium Li-ion.
There you go.
Li-ion. There's 2
lion.
I's.
I just call it lion.
So there is the battery connector side, the plug that discharges power, and then there is the charger side that you charge the battery with. Now, the important thing to know is that the battery side is going to have, or the charger side is going to have more wires compared to the gun plug side. So I'll bring this closer as well so you guys can see it right here. So as you guys can see, this is the gun side, this is the charger side. So the reason that there are more wires on the charger side is because each wire is connected to each cell individually. And the reason for this is you want to charge each cell of a
Evenly.
lithium ion, lithium polymer, lithium phosphate battery individually. If you plug it into the discharge side, it will charge one cell first, and then it'll trickle over into the next cell, and then into the next cell. And the problem with this is it is charging it unbalanced. And what I mean by unbalanced is, again, they're not charging all at the same time.
You can even see that on the charger itself. What I have here, this is a 10 LiPo charger. It literally will say LiPo balance charger. That's literally what its job is supposed to do.
Yeah. So if you are charging the LiPo battery through the discharge plug, when one battery or one cell is fully charged and the other one is, there creates a disruption in there, which can cause it to explode.
Yeah, we're not joking. This is what happened with me.
Yeah. So
God damn it.
yeah. So again, you do want to get the correct charger for it. What Isaiah said, this 10 LiPo, this is actually LiPo and LiFeet, but it actually charges lithium ion as well. So this will charge this properly. So actually, a quick note for you guys for LiPo chargers. These ones are specifically for lithium polymer and lithium phosphate. If you are charging a lithium ion battery, set it to lithium polymer. It charges the exact same way. Okay, that is very clear.
Don't need to go ahead and switch it out or anything.
Yeah, but you're going to want to plug the battery into the charger, find the correct port.
There are several different ports. This one is going to have 4. So the 7.4 is usually going to be the second largest. You go and plug that in right there. Make sure it lines up properly. Very much see what I'm doing because I'm doing back end. There you go. And it just snaps in right into place.
Yep.
Once you do that, this specific one is actually one of my favorite style of chargers. The solid red light is going to indicate that it's charging.
Yep.
A solid green light is going to let you know that the battery is fully charged, it's good to go, and you're good to play, right? Now, you could leave it there, honestly, and it should be fine as far as not overcharging it, though usually I just prefer to just disconnect it as soon as it's done. That's just me personally, but you can leave it there, and it shouldn't overcharge.
Yep. Yeah, so every LiPo charger that we sell at AirSoftEdge.com is going to be a smart charger. What's really cool about it is if there is a dead cell within the battery or there's something wrong with the battery,
it'll let you know.
It'll let you know. The light on the charger will start blinking red, letting you know that there is a problem, and it won't charge it at all, which is fantastic. You don't have to worry about blowing up a battery. And with these, you can leave this constantly plugged in. If the charger is plugged into the wall, you can plug in the LiPo battery without any issues, unlike the smart charger for a nickel metal hydride. So Tenergy is one brand. We do carry quite a few different brands.
Tactical.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, actually really sick. So it lets you know how much it's charged, the actual percentage of the battery itself, what voltage it's charging it at. So depending on the charger, there are very fancy chargers out there. Even not just for airsoft, for like very specialty hobbies like RC cars or drones.
A lot of them are using the same, like they're also using LiPo batteries or lithium ion, and some of them are actually like purpose chargers, so they can charge. Like theoretically, they should be able to go and charge pretty much every single type of battery out there. Just make sure like you read the instructions on those. Those are like pretty complicated.
Yeah, so you just want to be wary of what you are using. All right, so what is the next topic?
The next topic, I'm reading it up here because it's breaking the immersion. So it's right here. So we talked about power source, obviously. Okay, so I guess another thing too that not too many people realize is that there are different ways of powering an airsoft gun as well, depending on the gun itself. Because obviously we've talked a lot about like AEGs, but there is another platform. It's going to be gas blowbacks.
Technically three.
Okay.
4. Technically 4.
4, yeah.
So
you have HPA,
you
have AEG, Springer, and then gas blowback.
Yes. So 9.9 times out of 10.
If you want to get real technical about it, we used to have the slingshot.
You should.
The trebuchet, you know? That was a joke for real wild. When he was on my live stream, him and I think it was Chef Hanakage, we're going like, oh yeah, we're going real old school classic airsoft. We bust out the trebuchet.
That's nutty. That's hilarious. But 9.9 times out of 10, if you ask me what gun that I would recommend to anyone starting off, I'm going to recommend an AEG.
Yeah, same, all the way. Here's the thing: AEGs are like, even though there's a lot more components to them, there's obviously electronics compared to gas blowbacks, which have like no electronics. That'd be kind of cool though. For those, they have a very high tolerance overall for, like, again, just the rigors of play from what we've noticed, right? They just seem to be very easy. Just pick up, and go, right? They don't require much cleaning outside of the inner barrel, and that's, even then, you could get away with, if you're just leaving it stock, you can get away with not cleaning it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Out of the box, they're all pretty damn good. But with a gas blowback, it's going to be a lot more expensive, because magazines for something like this, right, for an AEG, they're like this one, $10, maybe $12 on the high end, right? You want to go and pick up like a mid cap, a nice one, maybe $20 at most, right? But for a gas blowback, usually magazines are going to start off at like the $20 price point. And if we're talking about gas blowback rifles, like
$20 is affordable for me.
Yeah, that's affordable. But if we're talking about like gas blowback rifles specifically, like KWA LM4, magazines are like $50 pop.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And they're not like 120 rounder mid caps, or they're not like 350 rounders. No, they're like 40 rounders.
Yeah. So when we say gas blowback, this is in reference to how the gun actually functions.
Yeah.
There's gas blowing back a bolt or a slide of the airsoft gun.
It's actuating just like a regular firearm would.
Exactly. So it's cycling it. So like for this pistol here, the slide moves back as it shoots the BB, and then as the slide moves forward, it loads the next BB into the chamber.
Yeah.
So you can continue to shoot it until it's empty. There are non-blowback gas powered guns.
Oh yeah, of course. I've owned a few before. I have one of the old school Mark 23s.
Oh yeah, that's pretty sweet.
But honestly, like the most like readily available like gas powered pistol out there is going to be like the gas blowback, and for good reason. There's plenty of parts available for it.
Oh yeah,
there's plenty of like support items. Again, magazines, you can find those.
You said the most readily available gas powered pistol is going to be a gas blowback pistol. That's what you just said. Yeah. Did you mean to say 1911 or
no? I meant more like pistols. Like you're not going to find as many gas non-blowback pistols. They exist.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so there are going to be a lot more gas blowback pistols than there are non-blowback pistols. Well, at least at AirsoftDry.com, depending where you look, because I'm fairly sure there is a good catalog of non-blowback guns. Typically, I don't recommend them unless it's a very specific item that is actually worth talking about. But for gas blowback pistols themselves, there are plenty of companies that make a wide variety of different models.
Oh yeah, if there's a pistol out there in the real world, there's most likely, and this goes for pretty much anything airsoft, there's most likely an airsoft replica of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And this is, even though like I would think at least a gas blowback pistol is like a standard for me. Yeah, it's still pretty niche.
Yeah, like there's, again, like a lot of players, especially new players when they're getting into it, right? Like when you get into it, they can only afford maybe like one gun. They're gonna go with the most sensible option, that being like the AEG.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So getting a gas blowback rifle, one, it's gonna be pretty pricey, pretty niche. It's cool because it's the most realistic experience you can get.
Oh yeah.
But again, it is gonna cost a little money. Even going with a sidearm, right? You pick up like one of these like 1911s, right? One of these Vorsk pistols, available at AirSoftDry.com, by the way. You pick up one of these guys, and you're gonna have to pick up more than just one magazine for sure if you want this to be your primary.
Yep. So yeah, it's definitely more of a luxury in airsoft. I mean, there are those people who went gas blowback for their first gun, and
which is cool.
No, yeah, absolutely cool. Like if that's what you plan on doing, go for it. Just again, do some education, some self-learning, so you know what to look out for. Again, like the 1911 or the high cap platform in airsoft is the most versatile because it has the most upgrade parts, aftermarket support out there in airsoft, so you can upgrade this to whatever you want. And then there's also Glock style pistols as well that have a lot of aftermarket support as well, depending on the specific platform that you use.
The platform that you get is going to determine how much support there is, but thankfully we are seeing that there is more and more parts and more innovation coming out in the airsoft industry for, again, aftermarket support items for whether it be a 1911, whether it be a Glock, whether it be, let's say, even like 226s.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. Well, I don't know, completely random. Or the M17s, the M18s.
Yep.
There's parts that exist out there, even for M9, which, you know me, I'm a big M9 boy.
Yeah.
But there's other like platforms too we mentioned as well. Obviously, we went over the AEGs, went over the gas blowbacks, but there's also Spring as well.
Yes.
And there's a couple different, when we say Springer guns, there are several different types you got to know that exist out there. Not all Springers are created equally, just like not all AEGs technically are not created equally as well. So just like an AEG has like the low power AEGs and low LPEGs, right? There are Springers out there that exist that are just, well, we did a video on this on our YouTube channel. You can check out the 5 most useless airsoft guns, and you went over the Spring guns.
Oh yes.
Basically guns like that, right? Where you gotta rack them back every single time, whether you pull the charging handle back or you rack the slide back every time you want to go ahead and shoot. There's usually no warranty that comes included with those. Very weak, sometimes out of the box they don't even use 0.2 gram.
You're making me
BBs.
relive that list. I hate you.
I'm giving you PTSD.
I thought I was done with it.
You'll never escape.
No, but yeah, those spring like really cheap spring pistols and rifles are very novelty.
Yes,
right?
that's the word.
Like they like it's a cool thing that you can use
If I
as
got-
a prop.
If I got this as a party favor in a little kid's birthday party, I would be ecstatic.
Yes, I'd be like, oh, freaking
Hell
sweet.
yeah, dude.
If I were to have paid money for that, I'd more than likely be disappointed.
Yeah, I'd be a little sad.
Unless there was a purpose for it. Again, using spring pistol, like there was a period of time where I ran a spring powered Desert Eagle.
Same. It wasn't a Desert Eagle for me. It was an M9, but yeah, I had a spring.
So it was
clear?
the backup. No, it was actually all black.
Oh, you fancy?
So it was actually a gift from my boy, Mike. Shout out. But it was a backup to the backup. So I had my rifle, I had my gas blowback pistol, and then on my vest I had just one of those Molly holsters
Oh yeah.
that
Dude.
came off of my cross-draw
Hell
vest.
yeah, dude. Cross shots for life.
And then I just mounted it onto my my plate carrier, and I just had it there as a backup. So, like, if worst case scenario, and actually there have been plenty of times where I've used that thing, and it just didn't help me at all because I don't plan on using it. I load it with whatever weight BBs I'm using. There's
And
one.
you just see you miss. You shoot it and it just.
Oh, dude, this is so funny. I was playing one day, and I was actually running that bad boy right there, my my Mark 12
Oh,
inch,
okay.
super long, and I just needed to rush this area. And that gun is shooting like 450, so I couldn't engage anybody in this specific building. So I ditched it. I pulled out my pistol. I was like, all right, cool. And then my homie Vince Kim, shout out, he ran up too, but I think his like piston stripped right before we were about to breach. He's like, my gun's down. I was like, here, take this. I pulled out. I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? So we're about to breach, right? We're about to enter this building through a doorway, and it leads directly into a hallway. I'm on the right side of the door. My homie Vince is on the left. He goes in. He gets shot immediately. I'm like, fuck, there's a guy right there. So like I pie the corner. I see him. I had to drop on him. Pull the trigger. Just like he's right here. And I was like, dang it. No, he tried to shoot. I was like, I dipped out really quick. I was like, damn it. And he heard me. He was like, is that a Springer? I was like, yeah. He was like, that's amazing. I was like, it'll be amazing if I kill you. I didn't kill him. I didn't know.
Oh my god,
I
that's
had to-
hilarious.
I
I
had
love
to
how you
retreat.
recognize too. Is that a Springer?
No, because it has a very distinct.
Yeah. The sound like you get when you pull a Springer's like back and you shoot it just.
Yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. But I mean, if you're able to pull off a kill, especially if it's like a troll type of kill.
Oh, 100% more respect to you, man.
Like if I had my gas blow by pistol, I would have clapped that.
Oh, 100%.
Hands down.
The performance you get from like those cheap Springers versus again like something just like a basic, even if it's one of the more affordable like Vorsk or Army, literally any brand. There's like a gas blowback pistol. There's no comparison when it comes to the actual performance. Like a Springer is just not really meant for that. We even say like it's typically relegated for backyard plinking, maybe some target shooting, or even if you're going to use it as props, right? I get a lot of cosplayers that come in store and just,
absolutely,
they need something just to kind of fill in the space, right? Like, hey, do you have like something that kind of looks like a 1911 or ICAP? And it's like, yeah, I got some, and then we'll sell them one of those.
Yeah.
But there are some good Springers that exist out there. One of the best Springers, in my opinion, is got to be like the classic like tri-shot shotgun. Those are like one of my favorite guns that you could actually. I'm gonna bring one out right now. Yeah,
go for it. So, tri-shot shotguns, I have talked about time and time and time again. Tri-shot shotguns are the ultimate backup to the backup to the backup. They're spring powered, which means every time you pump it, it's gonna fire. And the tri-shot shotguns specifically are typically very well built. They're very well assembled, and you don't have to worry about it breaking at all. One downside about a tri-shot shotgun is that they don't have adjustable hop-up, but gas-powered shotguns don't have adjustable hop-up either.
Yeah.
But it's a shotgun. It's meant for close quarters.
Usually,
it shoots 3 BBs per trigger pull.
This, like, there's so many different like designs out there, right? A lot of them are going to be using like the classic like M3 UGG style like tri-shot design, and that's honestly been like my favorite. I had that gun for a while. I couldn't afford a good like AEG for a while, especially when I did eventually buy it, I remember saying my MP5 was all crap and shit. When I got it. So for the longest time, I had a tri-shot shotgun just kind of hold me over, right? I spent like $50 on one. I still have it.
Oh, dude, I still have mine too.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I had a I was living in Rancho,
Yeah,
and I was down the street from an old field called Insight Interactive.
I remember them. Yeah.
They went away, I think, in 2012, I
Mhm.
think, or 2013, I forget. But that was like my home field, and I had a G36 that shot like 400 FPS, and I couldn't use it there.
Yeah.
So I got my Bravo tri-shot shotgun from GI. I actually got it in store, and that was my primary. And I remember I'd go there during the weekday and like hold my own against.
It's good,
best of
man.
the
Like,
best
especially if
AGs.
you're a good player. Like, first of all, if you're a decent player, it doesn't matter what gun you're given or what platform you're running. You should be able to go ahead and get kills regardless, right?
Yep.
But honestly, tri-shot shotguns are, to this day, they're still slept on.
Oh,
right? Like,
yeah. Oh,
I get it,
yes.
technology's improved, but honestly, like, just a good, solid, like, tri-shot shotgun, like, can serve you very, very well. There's not a whole lot of moving components in this bad boy. Yeah, it is going to be tough to go ahead and rack it back, you know, if you're weak or a child. But, what? Tell me I'm wrong.
You're weak.
Why are you booing
Get
me?
strong.
Why are you booing me? I'm right. But yeah, no, like, if like, it's going to be a little bit more, like, stiff to go ahead and pull it back, but once you do it, it's just, like, it's there, it's ready to go.
Yep.
And that's it. And you can buy shells like in packs for dirt cheap, man.
Yeah, like the cool thing about like a lot of these tri-shot shotguns is the shells are pretty much universal.
Yeah.
Golden Eagle, Tokyo Marui,
UTG,
Double Bell,
Bravo,
Jag. Jag. All those shells are meant to be like the same platform, and they can be used interchangeably. And we know because we've done this. I've done this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of those things where like this right here is just a good, solid platform that could just be the ultimate backup. Now, again, this is a affordable Springer, but it is not cheap in quality. It is everything that you want out of a spring shotgun, especially because the benefit of using a spring shotgun, especially a tri-shot, is again what I said earlier. It is a tri-shot. Every time you pull the trigger,
that's three BBs coming at you.
Are coming at you at once. That makes up for the lack of range. You get closer, the more BBs you put down range, regardless of what it is, the more likely you're going to hit someone, especially if you send 3 at the same time. So definitely one of those airsoft guns that even though it's categorized in Springer, it's definitely worth.
I would not put in the
more.
same. Yeah, I would not put in the same category.
Yeah,
as
it's
like any like cheap Springer pistol.
Exactly.
And you can find various platforms. Like again, they all there's this one's obviously going to be like the Fab Arms STF.
Yeah, 12.
Well, I think so. Yeah, it's good 12. But there are other designs out there. I actually do own, like to this day, I have a that I actually bought from here too. ASG. Spaz 12 actually. Yep. I run one of those, and I use the exact same internal design. So I love using that because again, Jurassic Park cosplay. But you know, my little brother will use that. I've had like the actual Bravo shotgun as well. I didn't have the stock one though. I had the no stock version.
Oh, so
basically like that, yeah.
Yeah. So I was doing a little bit of research. I wanted to have a stock, but I wanted the full stock.
Yeah.
But the full stock version had the longer barrel.
Mm-hmm.
So
you wanted the shorter, but the stock as well.
Yeah. So I had to go with the one in between that has the adjustable stock.
Yeah.
And the shorter barrel. So it's a little bit longer in barrel, like about right here, but it does have the adjustable stock. It's not an M4 stock, but it is like one that can be changed into positions and stuff. So, you know, just like one of those
if you have like nothing else, right, and you really want to get started playing Airsoft, see if it's for you. If you didn't want to go ahead and make that investment into like a good solid AEG just yet.
Yep.
You honestly can't go wrong with a tri-shot shotgun. I still love them to this day.
Yeah, even this Fab Arms one, I think is like 75, 80 bucks. So it's not too much where it will break the bank, but it still gets you competitive on the field.
And a lot of them you can still accessorize too. But this one specifically, again, you get Picatinny on the bottom, you get a full Picatinny top rail. Like you can put optics on this thing, like it'll help. Oh hell yeah! You put like a little broom handle.
But yeah, that's definitely cool. But all right. How many other topics we got going on?
Let's see here.
We are running a little long.
We are running a little long. Right now, let me see. I guess more different magazines. That's going to be like the...
Okay, so we'll finish it off with the different types of magazines.
Yes. So
with Airsoft AEGs, there are typically 2 types of magazines. There's high cap magazines and mid cap magazines. Now,
you have to make sure first and foremost that you're buying the magazine specifically designed for your platform.
Yes.
If it's designed for a Team Spec M4 or an AK or G36 or G3, whatever it may be, make sure that you are buying that specific style or specification magazine. It should say in the description. We make sure that we put it down on all of our magazines that we sell on our website.
That's right.
So again, if you're running an M4, don't buy an AK magazine.
Yeah,
it's not going to
obviously.
work.
It's that should be obvious.
Yeah.
But as you can see, these are two M4 magazines that look very similar, but there are two denoting features. One is a high cap, one is a mid cap. Now, a high cap magazine, if you do not know, is high capacity magazine. The way that
shit's on around.
Yeah, the way that these work is there is a trap door on the
I'll
top.
bring it to the camera.
Yeah, go ahead. So there's a door on the top of the magazine that you slide open and pour BBs into. And then there is a loading wheel right at the bottom, or a spinning wheel that will wind a tape spring. And you wind that to load BBs into the magazine. Now, a lot of beginner airsofters will make a very big mistake with this style of magazine. What they'll do is they'll wind the magazine until they see BBs coming out of the loading tube and think it's completely wound and it's good to fire. And then they'll shoot a couple times, a couple of BBs will fly out, and then it stops firing. And then think, oh, what's wrong?
You have to make sure that when you insert it into the gun itself, remember, it still has a little bit of like ways to go to actually be, I guess, chamber. I guess that's the best way to describe it. So until it actually reaches like the point where it's ready to fire. So you have to make sure that you wind it a little more just to make sure that it's pushing it all the way to the top.
Yeah. So with the high cap magazines, you can't overwind it.
Yeah, that's another big issue too.
Yeah, so you want to just continue to wind the magazine. Honestly, if once it reaches the max amount of tension, you'll hear a definitive click. From this magazine right here, you can hear that click, but there will be a much louder clicking noise when it is when the tape spring has been fully compressed. That will let you know, hey, it's reached the maximum amount of tension that it could possibly get. So you just want to continue to wind that so the BBs will continue to load into the magazine and then load into the gun.
Now,
just
because it's shooting at that point and you've wound it quite a bit as you're shooting, doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to feed every single BB all the way through.
Yes.
That's just the nature of a lot of high cap magazines. In between bursts, it is highly recommended that you actually go ahead and continue to wind just every so often, right? And bear in mind, the closer you get to the last 50, right? The last 50 BBs on your magazine, you are going to wind a little bit more, but you can still experience skipping. That is just the nature, again, especially when it comes to the included high cap magazine you get out of the box.
Yes, and another thing to note with high cap magazines, because of the loading chamber, the way this works is basically a hopper that loads into the chamber. Yeah. All the BBs that are in this chamber are not going to load into the gun because there's nothing pushing it upward. Okay, so there are going to be BBs that you won't be able to shoot until you pour more BBs into it. The benefits of a mid-capacity magazine or mid-cap magazine is it's basically one dedicated path for the BBs to follow that's loaded by a spring and a follower.
Yeah. So
as you're loading it with the speed loader, you're pushing BBs into it, it's going to all be trapped in tension with the spring. So it's going to load majority of the BBs into the gun. Now I say majority because there's still a little bit of space in between the air nozzle, the chamber of the hop-up unit, and the magazine, where when you eject the magazine, 2 or 3 BBs will fall out.
I've seen this happen before where a lot of customers have actually come in store and said, oh, I think my gun's broken. Every time I take a mag out, I see like BBs coming out. That is completely normal. That is absolutely fine. Every airsoft gun is going to do that regardless of what platform, whether it be AKs, G36s, G3s, FALs, M4s, they all going to do that. Don't worry. Now, there is one other thing that I'm going to recommend when it comes to using mid-caps. I will always recommend buying a mid-cap, first and foremost. Mid-caps are just going to have much more reliable feeding. They're not going to sound like a tactical Maraca, right? That's really annoying. It's going to give your position away, especially if you're trying to be sneaky, right? But with that said, as soon as you are done playing for the day, I would highly recommend that you take out all the BBs from your magazine simply by literally just lifting that up here, this little button, and that'll go ahead and release the lip. So again, all the BBs are going to come out because the spring's going to push them all out. I say that because if you were to leave all the BBs, especially if you have like a fully loaded one, right, ones you didn't use throughout the game, you're just like, oh, that's fine, I'll just leave it in the gun for next time. Yeah, the problem with that is it's going to wear down the spring tension that you have inside your magazine. And it could get to a point where even if you're like only halfway done with the magazine, the rest of the BBs might not feed. At least not consistently anyway.
There's a big argument about springs losing tension because the spring has memory of its original form. Some people say it doesn't matter if it stays loaded or not. Some people, like me and you, will think that it does affect the efficiency of how it pushes the BBs or loads the BBs into the gun. So take that information as you will.
Yeah, I'm saying that as like from what I've seen in storefront, because I've seen a couple guys come in, right, and they have like their magazines, right, and these are like PTS mags. These are good magazines.
Oh yeah.
And like it would work for like, and they say like just fire the entire magazine. I'm like, all right, cool, let's see what's going on. And it would literally get to about maybe half of what I was actually shooting. Maybe like I'd have a quarter left at best,
and it's just not.
And it's just not feeding anymore. Yeah. And I know there's plenty of BBs, because when I took it out and I tensioned BBs, I would see a ton of BBs come out.
Yep.
But that spring tension was just so worn out.
Yep. And for the high cap magazine, you're going to do the same thing. I'll actually demonstrate it. There is a little bring it up close. So what Isaiah was talking about, there is a tiny little lever right there on the end that you're just gonna pull on, and then it releases all the BBs just like that. So then you release the tension completely. You can just throw those BBs back in there, whatever you want to do. And now they are loaded. Your magazines are unwound, and it keeps you safe, because if you decide to fiddle with your airsoft gun, unload it, and then you like stuff a loaded magazine into there,
I'm gonna shoot it, right? And then you end up like that kid that shot his computer. You guys remember that old video?
It wasn't even a computer screen. It was his flat screen TV.
Oh, I thought it was his computer.
I don't know. It looked like a flat screen to me.
It could be. It could have been.
Who knows? But yeah,
I'll be that guy.
I think we covered a good amount of information.
I think so too.
Guys, if there's anything that you think every airsofter should know, let us know in the live chat or in the comments below. We want to help spread information and keep everybody informed to make educated decisions, not only purchasing airsoft guns, but maintaining airsoft guns and keeping their airsoft guns running, and general stuff.
Yeah, whether you're a beginner player or have been playing for 10 years, there's just quick little reminders or just tips that you guys should go out and keep in mind when playing airsoft or getting into this hobby. But meantime, there's been another episode of the Range Talk. My name is Isaiah.
My name is Cisco.
We'll see you on the next one.
Peace, y'all.
Later.